Hey everybody, Michael from Rogue Deck Builder here. We are doing a quick little deck tech video before I start recording some matches for you guys. It's been a while since I've done that, but really big thanks to Kevin for letting me sort of have access to his card pool and helping me make some more series for you guys. So I'll definitely try and get on that right away. He definitely lent me some more expensive cards, but hopefully I can start getting my own. And hopefully I can start playing it. Hopefully I will start playing in more, start playing daily events to hopefully get some tickets, and then I can just earn my own cards that way. But thanks, Kevin, for letting me use his cards, and let's get on with the deck tech. So I did a deck tech for this a while ago. I just changed a couple of things, but this is mostly just a setup for the gameplay recordings. It's just a little bit easier doing it right before I record the gameplay videos for you guys. So this is my little take on mono black devotion with an emphasis on hand disruption and discarding for the purpose of using Shrieking Affliction to hopefully grind out some damage as we go along with building up devotion for a large gray merchant, or hopefully ramping with Nykthos into an abhorrent overlord. And that would, with all the double blacks in our deck, it should be pretty nice getting a abhorrent overlord down for a pretty large chunk. But mainly we will be pretty much just making them discard their hand, grinding them out with Shrieking Affliction, and then placing down a gray merchant to finish them off. That's pretty much the idea of this deck. There are mono black staples in here, 4 copies of Hero's Downfall. We have Bileblight, Devourflesh, Doomblade, Ultimate Price, Gray Merchant, and Underworld Connections, as well as Thoughtseize for the typical mono black cards, but I am including 2 extra copies of Duress for the extra hand disruption. I'm including Liliana's Reaver for extra hand discard, as well as getting more chump blockers and attackers onto our field. Having Death Touch is pretty nice as well to be able to hold back some attacks, as well as we have Disciple of Phoenix, which is an extra double white for our devotion, as well as just, again, more hand disruption. It is nice as well. I like Disciple of Phoenix because it also hits lands. If we, with all of our double black, it's not hard to make them reveal their whole hand, which means that if they are mana screwed or something like that, we can easily make that even worse for them by taking out their lands from their hand. And then Soul Ransom, I am including this because I enjoy this card. It forces them to discard if they want their creature back, as well as it draws us 2 cards once they do that. So worst case scenario, they discard right away. We get 2 cards out of their hand. We gain 2 cards. Plus, if we have removal in our hand, we can just, Doomblade their monster right away when it gets back onto their side of the field or something along those lines. So not terrible at all. Might knock it down to 2 copies and add in another copy of something else, maybe some more removal, but we'll see. This is in its early phases, so we'll see how testing goes. Early testing showed that I was missing land a lot. I was running 22 land before. If you saw my most recent deck tech video for this, I did take out an Abhorrent Overlord, and I did take out a copy of Devourflesh to throw into the sideboard to make room for 2 extra for an island, and a swamp, because running 24 lands is a little bit better, and I felt I was missing lands too much with 22. So hopefully this goes a lot better, and we'll see how it goes. But sideboard wise, not much to say. 2 Dark Betrayals for the mono black matchup, 2 Devourflesh, and 3 Doomblades for extra removal against green red monsters and those types of decks. 2 copies of Duress for the blue white control matchups, as well as 4 copies of Lifebane Zombie for green red monsters. Pretty much any creature heavy matchup, as well as it is still nice in the blue white control deck for another aggressor, as well as to give us more information on their hand. And they do sideboard in stuff like Archangel of Thunes and Brimaz now, so hopefully we can potentially grab something from there. And then 2 copies of Psychic Strike. This is another, this is a counter card, because I think that my deck doesn't interact well with certain things such as Detention Sphere, so it is nice to be able to counteract those, against stuff like Esper humans or something. Or blue white control, they of course run Detention Sphere, so being able to get rid of those or at least counter them is pretty important to us. It doesn't help us just against pretty much anything that we can't afford to have on the field or have resolve. So very, very nice to have. Milling for 2 isn't terribly important, but main reason why I chose Psychic Strike over something like Dissolve is because I didn't want the double blue in my deck. It's hard enough to cast Soul Ransom as it is sometimes. And with the amount of double blacks that we have in our deck, having to include more blue symbols is not a good recipe for us. So we want to try to minimize that as much as possible. Psychic Strike, is a blue and a black, so it's much easier for us to cast, as well as it still does the job of countering. The milling's not important, but just countering a spell is quite important for us. But that's pretty much the deck. I hope you guys enjoy the gameplay that is about to follow this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and as well as feel free to leave any suggestions for this deck as we go along with the games, and I'll be sure to take a look at them and probably most likely implement them into this deck, because this deck is in its early stages of life, and I definitely want to test with this more. It's a pretty fun deck, being able to empty out their hand and just watching their life tick down with Shrieking Affliction before just placing an extra, just one big Gray Merchant or relatively large Gray Merchant for the win. So hopefully we see some of that in these games, but let's get on with the games. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.